Welcome to the Nostalgia Hunters. Today we got a real treat for you. We got Ken Brown, co-owner of Drawn to Comics. Hey Ken, how you doing?
Great, dude. How about you? Thank you for having me on.
Hey man, it's an honor. I've been a fan of your comic book shop for years now. It's one of the go-to places I, frequently visit with for knowledge and the great deals and obviously the comics.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, it's like our whole philosophy is when you walk in that door, you get immersed into a comic book experience that's friendly and knowledgeable and just tries to make you feel like you're right at home.
Yeah, and that's perfect. That's a perfect example. I also have Dustin here from the Harry Man Show.
How you guys doing?
Good, Dustin. Welcome on, man. Thank you for having me on.
No problem.
So lots going on in the comic book world, especially with the Snyder Cut and then all the Marvel situations happening. What is your take on all that right now?
Man, dude, the Justice League Snyder Cut has been a long time in waiting. I mean, it was supposed to be out last year, if I remember correctly, but essentially the pandemic put it on hold. And also, too, like, Zack Snyder hasn't disappointed much so far, and I'm kind of excited to see what some of the different changes are going to be in it. And it's almost 3 hours. Is that correct, what I'm hearing on it?
It's 5 hours.
5 hours. Good gosh. So I'm going to have to more or less carve out I would almost have to get an intermission in there, take bathroom breaks, I guess.
Yeah, I do believe he's going to give some characters the right justice they deserved in the first place with this cut.
That'd be awesome. Are we going to see Darkseid, or is that just rumors I'm hearing?
No, he's going to be in there. I can't wait to see what he looks like.
Yeah, or that's going to be unbelievable. I said, too, that build-up for it was, I guess, how'd you say, Uncharted, almost like the Thanos of the DC universe.
Absolutely. All the spoilers we're getting looks super exciting.
Man, I can't wait to see it. I said, too, like, I was just excited to even see Wonder Woman. I heard a lot of people were not as satisfied with Wonder Woman as they could have been, but it was just good to get a superhero movie out before the end of the year last year. And what we're seeing in WandaVision so far, too, has been just mind-blowing. So Justice League's Snyder Cut. Can't wait for it.
WandaVision started out pretty slow, but it's been dynamite.
Oh my gosh!
After the last few episodes, I'm hooked on it big time.
So, what do you think the next cameo is going to be on that one?
Oh man, dude, there's a lot of guesses out there. I mean, I'm hearing Mephisto, I'm hearing Nightmare. I've even heard the fact that oh my gosh, Baron Mordo from the end of Doctor Strange getting revenge on Doctor Strange. That might be something that's an unheard of twist that I just heard this week from some of my customers. I'm going, there are so many things that Wanda have been connected with over the years.
So excited
that they can throw anything at us. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Me personally looking for Magneto to show up.
Me too. Oh my gosh, dude, it's funny that you say that. We do another podcast.
That'd be like the perfect lead into the X-Men too.
Yes, I do a weekly podcast called the Nightcap Chat. Is it okay to do a quick little plug?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, dude, we do a weekly podcast that usually drops on Tuesday nights called the Nightcap Chat, and we've been discussing WandaVision, and that was like one of our predictions or things that we'd want to see happen, whether it does or not. And that's my thing. I put on my prediction of something I'd love to see whether it happens or not is Magneto showing up at the end of the show with open arms and saying, "You're looking for a family?
Wow,
here it is for you."
That'd be totally awesome. We've also been doing a little bit of breaking down on the WandaVision episodes too.
So good.
At the Nostalgia Hunters. It's just such a fun thing to talk about right now.
Oh my gosh, I thought Mandalorian was like when Luke Skywalker showed up at the end was kind of the biggest, excuse my phrase, nerdgasm that we would see in pop culture this year that no one expected. But what's been going on in WandaVision episode after episode has just been upping the game. Disney Plus kind of took it to a whole new level to start off 2021.
Definitely game changing, definitely.
Do you believe there's going to be a Mandalorian season 3, or do you think that just leads into the Book of Boba?
I think Book of Boba is going to be like the next step, but I would like to see a Mandalorian still continue story-wise, because now that he's kind of the head of the Mandalorian community now, isn't that kind of like what's had established by him getting the black saber?
Yeah, the dark saber
at the end of season 4, dark saber.
Yeah, it makes you the leader of the Mandalorians.
And so that's something that he may not really embrace 100%, but I think he's going to have to embrace it.
And honestly, he doesn't have a choice. He has to take the lead, take the reins.
Yeah. And when he has, man, I'm so in WandaVision right now, I'm forgetting some of the co-Mandalorian characters that showed up at the end of the season there. Who is the person that was hoping to get the dark saber?
Oh, Satine
I'm sorry.
Kryze, isn't it Satine? Or
Yes, like Sabine.
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
Bo-Katan.
I greatly appreciate that. I'm going, oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, but Bo-Katan, I could see him making her more or less the person that he defers to about decision making with the Mandalorian going forward.
Like the Game of Thrones, like the Hand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Almost like that president, vice president type of thing. It's like that, hey, it's like I may be president, but you're more or less the person that is the authority of knowledge that I'm going to defer to. Just because I'm the final decision maker, your input is going to be super important in any of my decision making because you've been there, you've done that, you know what it means. I'm just, once again, the wielder of it. That way they don't have to have that whole battle to kill the Mandalorian for her to take charge. And,
that's a great outlook on the whole situation.
Yeah, kind of giving her the more or less the big call on decision making, and then he just, okay, cool, I greenlight it. This makes sense.
Nice, yeah, I 100% agree. That'd be, if it plays out like that, it's gonna be awesome.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Exactly, pretty much, yeah, dude. It's like, okay, I'm CEO, but you're COO, and let's go from there.
Absolutely. So,
but good stuff, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're definitely poised for an awesome year of comic movies and Star Wars fandom.
What about the new Spider-Man name?
Yes.
So that was released today. What did you think about that?
The Spider-Man information? Is there new Spider-Man information that got released today? I have not seen it. Fill me in, you guys, dude.
Oh my god. I feel like you should be filling us in.
The title is Far From Home, right?
Oh.
No, it's not. It's something to the effect of never going home, or something to that effect. That's gonna be the title of the movie.
So like not going home or never going home?
Never going home or not going home. Something to that effect.
Wow.
But yeah, we've seen that in the movies. Like it's a callback title. It was like a So.
And do you believe they're gonna pull the other Spider-Mans into it, like a multi-dimensional one in this?
I hope so, because it seems like that's what I hope WandaVision's setting up here is the opening of the multiverse.
That's what happened in the House of M, right?
Yes. Yeah. And like House of M is like just changing realities up. But then at the whole time in the Spider-Verse, it was the Tapestry that opened up the multiverse of the Spider-Verse in the comics.
Absolutely.
And, but if they can do this with, I guess with the Nexus, have you heard the whole Nexus theory too? That the Nexus is...
That commercial in the last WandaVision was kind of like an opening, right, to the Nexus.
Yeah, and I guess the Nexus is the opening between universes. Is that correct? If I am referring to that correctly?
Yeah, you nailed it. I believe.
Now I had a question. When these shows come out, do you see people seeking out a lot of comics in those series, or they kind of follow the trend?
Yeah, there is a lot of people that have been kind of asking about Vision and Scarlet Witch comics, about West Coast Avengers lately, like number 45 of West Coast Avengers. I don't know if you're familiar with that issue or not, but that's the issue that looks like the homage cover to Avengers number 57, which was the first appearance of Vision back in 1968. Okay. Nice. But the West Coast Avengers number 45 is more or less an homage, an echo of that cover, but he's in the all white because his memory banks have been completely erased and he was rebuilt.
Oh yeah, we'll probably see that for sure in the show.
I think that'll be awesome, and I just don't know. There's so many motivations. Like, what do you think the true motivation is of? I think bringing Vision back.
Hands down, the motivation for Marvel Universe is to open it up to all aspects, all mutants, everything.
I think he's going to be weaponized, to be honest with you.
Did you hear the rumor that something we were discussing is we're concerned whether or not they're trying to bring back Ultron?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Through the Vision, because in the Age of Ultron movie, Ultron was hoping to use that more or less body vessel that they were making for Jarvis. Right. He tried hijacking that for his own needs. And then luckily, they put Jarvis's mind inside of that body before Ultron could access it himself.
I literally been watching Age of Ultron once a week, just trying to see what ties in with WandaVision, just so I can stay up on the level.
There's so much stuff that's in there that's hidden Easter eggs wise that blows me away. I mean, when I saw what Agnes did at the end of this last episode, that's pretty much everything that Scarlet Witch did in her first appearance when she was working with, I think it was, oh my gosh, Von Strucker. And she touched the different Avengers and gave them more or less visions that were kind of supposed to drive them mad, but it ended up being a peek at the realities of where the movies were going that haven't come out yet.
That's exactly where what happens in the Age of Ultron, right? Where they have their dreams and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
And there's a scene in Doctor Strange where they zoom in on the library, and that book that's at the end of the episode is actually the missing book in that movie too.
Yes, and that would be kind of an interesting thing that they're doing. Is like they're kind of doing the same thing again, but it's coming through Scarlet Witch's eyes rather than through the eyes of the Avengers that Scarlet Witch did to Ultron. Or not to Ultron, but during Age of Ultron. And now Agnes is doing it to her to kind of try to move things in action to either bring back Mephisto or to introduce Nightmare, to introduce mutants, to all these little different seeds being laid for what's going to be, or planted to be, what we'll see coming in the future MCU universe movies and TV shows.
Do you think Agnes is going to kill her children in the series?
I think that the children may be done. Do you know what I mean? The fact that they're gone already, like, did she plant them there in her mind, to help them get there in the first place?
If you remember, Scarlet Witch took those soul shards from Mephisto and created the kids in the comics. So I think it just plays into that in some form.
Yeah, I totally see that coming too. It's like that the Mephisto was trying to use Scarlet Witch's magic to birth himself back into reality through the twins.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like Master, go ahead.
All in all, do you see this being a continuing series or just like kind of a one-off?
I think it's going to be, I hope they do more than one season, but I can see it as a one-off, as almost like a pilot to what's happening next in the MCU.
Yeah, right. Just
like the multiverse is being introduced here, like another thing that we're seeing, as like, I guess Doctor Strange, as you said too, that kind of introduced the multiverse because time was infinite when he was dealing with Dormammu that he locked in time and space, like where he just kind of had him recreate the cycle over and over and over and over again in Doctor Strange. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
And so technically, if you think about that, every time he's going through a time cycle, is that creating a reality?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening.
Because the time, like every time, like in more or less Back to the Future theories or so on and so forth, like even in when you break time, that doesn't mean that other timeline's still not going.
No, absolutely. It's always in motion. So.
Yes, and so every time that Doctor Strange did that to Dormammu, technically we could say that we have multiple realities of Dormammu creating different timelines that are the multiverse that we're seeing right now.
So is it safe to say that Marvel's on top of the comic industry right now?
Yeah, Marvel's still on top. It's DC's making a nice push right now with Future State and what they're doing with oh gosh, dude, I'm sorry, it's been such a long day. I apologize.
You're
Infinite. What is the new storyline starting up next month? Not Infinite. Oh man, I need to.
Is it another Crisis?
Yeah, not another Crisis, but Infinite. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. You have to edit this out. I apologize, dude. Infinite.
It's all good.
Here. Let me see here too, dude. I want to say Infinite Horizons, but not Infinite Horizons.
Just a quick question: with the state of media, do you see Disney Plus kind of pushing more series and movies to kind of like build up more character development?
Yes, I really see Disney got it all together. I don't know exactly how they executed this so easily.
Where these DC takeover.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy that DC hasn't had an opportunity to execute such a good job that Disney's been doing. Infinite Frontiers.
Infinite Frontiers.
Well, the reason I bring that up is I feel like a 2-hour movie is not really up to consumer standards anymore. Because people that dig into the rabbit hole, character development, how it relates. So it's almost like a series or a show run is more acceptable now than a 2-hour movie in a theater, which not many people are going to anymore.
It's with comic books too. I think you're seeing that too. The success behind Disney over DC, which is I don't quite understand because DC created the superhero comic book medium, but it feels like that Marvel and Disney have. I mean, it's been going even. You got to give some credit as much as. Sometimes people give me flack because I don't like the Fox X-Men movies as much as I thought I would because I love the X-Men.
No, we're due for a change. I'm not a big fan of the Fox X-Men either.
Yeah, I kind of call them the faux X-Men because definitely. Because Fox was kind of like more foes and they were friends to the X-Men over the years.
Yeah.
But they did capture the magic in the bottle to have their storytelling continue from movie to movie.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think Marvel's going to pull a new Fantastic Four into it, or try to jump off that last one?
I think they're going to pull in a new Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
I
that's
think they
the
hit
one
the
thing.
reset button on the first family.
Yeah, I think the reset button for the Fantastic Four to be brand new coming into the MCU is a good thing because it's easy. It's kind of scientist to start off with. And you can have like a Reed Richards once again in like any reality, but the realities of the ones that they did over at Fox were kind of they were trying to do too much of their own thing rather than pay attention to anything that Marvel did with the Fantastic Four.
Right.
And that was kind of, I think, why Marvel had to stop publishing Fantastic Four for a couple years until they got the rights back because, like, they just went so far off the rails. Anybody coming into a comic shop saying, like, oh, do you have anything that resembles what they did in the movie storyline-wise? And we have to say, no.
So,
yeah, Victor Von Doom was never on that flight. I apologize, dude.
Right.
You can't change that. It's like that's a completely different origin.
Getting away from
you can't explain.
Getting away from Marvel and DC. Who's next up? Do you think?
I keep on waiting for the Spawn movie that Todd McFarlane's talked about for the past 5 years. And I really have a lot of hope with that, especially with the news that Todd made this week about starting a Spawn verse. Like where he's going to expand out his storytelling into other creators working with coming up with ideas to integrate into a Spawn verse, make it like a Marvel or DC type of universe, I hope. But once again, this is Todd. He's never really had a bad idea in 25 years.
That'd be kind of dark, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering. Is like that. How dark is he going to take it, or is he going to open it up to bring in some brighter characters?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I wonder what a Spawn creation of Superman would look like.
Yeah, well, I would hope it would be someone different. Like Spawn. I would hope that he models the Batman type of model with it, like where there's Spawn and all the Spawn ally type of characters, like She-Spawn and Gunslinger and, you know what I mean? Like the Angel Spawn, or not Angel Spawn, what's his name right now? Redeemer. I apologize, dude. That's on the cell phone right now, that charger thing keeps on charging in and out.
Oh, you're good, man. Is there any comic content right now besides, I would say, besides the big two that you would recommend to like maybe a novice comic or even somebody that's strictly Marvel and DC, but they want to branch out a little bit?
Yeah, like Image and Dark Horse and Boom are all doing great jobs right now. I mean, like at Image, I really like Robert Kirkman's new series Firepower. That is, I don't know if you've heard of that at all or not, but it's a little bit of like a master of kung fu type of feel to it, but mixed with someone leaving the martial arts dojo order, so you can almost like, I guess you could say, even like Ra's al Ghul type of hidden society of chi trainers and like that are just like almost like, I don't know, are you familiar with G.I. Joe, the Rashikaji clan at all? From like the Storm Shadows and Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
A little bit like that kind of clan, but one of them leaves the order and decides to start a family, but then the order gets threatened and they try bringing him back in and he wants no part of being brought back in.
I like that. Usually anything Kirkman touches is usually pretty solid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm like a big Kirkman fan. It's even excited that Walking Dead's new season started, or not new season, but episode 17 of season 10 started this last weekend.
Man, I was watching
anything Kirkman.
I was watching Walking Dead religiously, and I kind of fell off in the last couple seasons.
No, I can say it's a long burn.
Yeah, but I mean, for the first 4 or 5 seasons, I was hooked every week. It was right in front of the couch.
Yes. That's just it's the actors are still good. I would say too. I apologize for going up on tangent on Walking Dead, but anytime I bring up Kirkman, I have to bring up Walking Dead.
You got to. It's a staple.
But yeah, Kirkman is always it's hard to miss when you read a Kirkman book. Another thing too that's starting up, if you're a big comic book fan of Kirkman's, is the Invincible Amazon show should be starting up.
Okay, yeah, I
before the summer.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Now, due to the obvious, are you guys having any events coming up in your shop at all?
Right now, we're still holding off until probably Free Comic Day will be the earliest event that we do up in August. We debate a lot about what is best during the pandemic, and it looks like the pandemic hopefully is starting to settle down a little bit more. I mean, it's still a pandemic until they tell us it's not a pandemic is my attitude towards it. But whatever we can do to keep the community as safe as possible, we're trying to do our best with it. And when it comes to events, we love 100% participation. And if someone's not feeling comfortable walking into our store because of their own health concerns, we really don't think that's the best way to pull an event off. Does that make sense?
No, that's super understandable. Also, real quick, I've noticed a lot of comic book places in the area in Arizona in general are not really as active in the community like you guys are. Why is it important for you guys to reach out to the community and make your presence felt?
Well, that we can't do anything without the community around us. I mean, you can try to be on an island and just say like that, well, not everybody understands comics, so just the people that are interested, well, they'll come in and we'll take care of them. But when you reach out into the community, whether it's schools or libraries or, you know, even like the local barbershop down the strip from us, just things that where you kind of include them in with what's happening with you, it's more reasons to get involved with what's happening in your own store.
That's a pretty awesome outlook on it.
And it's like that if I can kind of get the message out about the coffee shop I like to go to, that if they go to that coffee shop, they already like coming to us. Why aren't they going to stop by us again too and say hi?
All right, they can get a couple of books and then go to the coffee shop and read them.
Absolutely. The pizza shop right across the street from us, like Pizza Roma, I mean, it's fun to be in that same boat with them too as well. We're all this community together as small business owners, as people, as friends, as family. I mean, my daughter's the same age as the guy that owns the pizza place's daughter, so it's been kind of fun watching them grow up together. I mean, they don't see each other as much as they used to, but it was just kind of like cool to feel like that. When you just reach out in your community, it's so much more than just running the business. You're part of like a larger family, in my opinion.
That's awesome. And then what do you think drives your guys' success as a whole?
Just consistency, knowledge, and passion, and, you know, customer service is always number one. I mean, like that, literally, like, there's multiple comic shops around the valley, as you say, and they're all great in their own way. But we just really never want to take for granted of what it means when someone walks into our store and taking that time out of their day. And, you know, if they are spending any money, that it's money that really means something to them, and it's not something they're just going to be, you know, using frivolously in our store.
See, this is why you guys are my favorite comic book shop.
Let's
talk about the Mascot. I freaking love that guy.
Yeah, Captain Customer is what we kind of named him. We had a naming contest back in like 2007, and it was kind of funny because we kept on getting these names that were like superhero names that were like, you know, the Dark Avenger, or, you know, things that were like more comic booky, which was cool, but I wanted something that really reflected the customer, because without the customers, there's no him.
Right. I was the guy that sent you a message of that little custom figure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
I do plan.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I do plan to give that to you guys.
That is awesome, dude. Yeah, thank you, dude. I completely forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah,
it's fun. We do have some other people that brought in some like cool stuff, and we try to put it up in the store. So we'll definitely put it up in the store for you whenever you get a chance.
Cool. Yeah, I'll make it out there for that. And then,
yeah, that is awesome.
In closing today, I really appreciate you coming on, but we've been dying to know what's your favorite comic book character.
Oh man, growing up, I was. Man, dude, that's a tough one, because there's a bunch of ones growing up that like kind of dabbled me into comics, but Spider-Man was the one that really got me diehard into comics.
Okay.
Because just like everybody else, like I guess I shouldn't age myself too much, but I was a child of the 80s. I think that's why I love Stranger Things so much, because, oh my gosh, that's like my childhood, except there wasn't demons and monsters chasing me through the forest.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it was, the thing that was really big about Spider-Man back in the 80s was Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, the cartoon with Firestar, Iceman, and Spider-Man.
Speaking of that, they just released that Firestar figure, so the trio is complete now on Marvel Legends.
I saw that, dude. I was super excited to see Firestar. Did you know that Firestar first appeared in the cartoon before appearing in the comics as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I've been a big fan of that cartoon for as long as I can remember.
And so everybody talks about Harley Quinn. It's like, oh man, Harley Quinn's the coolest cartoon character to make it to comics. And I go, dude, how come Firestar doesn't get that same kind of love?
Oh, it's long overdue for her to have her own action figure from Marvel Legends.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they're going to do more stuff with Firestar, because a lot of things we talked about in the store, too, is like when a Legends figure comes out, that means they want to test the feel of what they can do with storytelling with that character, in either cartoons, movies, or more comics.
How cool would it be, like a little cameo in Spider-Man?
Oh my gosh, dude, that would be epic to see Firestar and Iceman show up as amazing friends before.
Like you said, a nerdgasm right there.
Oh, dude, that would be intense. I mean, that was, cause they did it inside of the Spider-Verse comic series. They had one of the episodes where they popped into the Spider-Man's Amazing Friends universe. And unfortunately, that Spider-Man got killed off, but it was still amazing just to see that little flashback of that reality being touched on during the Spider-Verse storyline they did a few years back in the comics by Dan Slott.
Yeah, that'd be so awesome if they represent her.
I would love to see that. But as a kid, I would go to 7-Elevens and, play Spy Hunter or the Star Wars stand-up video games. Do you remember those at all?
All right, yeah. So I used to play the Mortal Kombat and the Street Fighter games too. So I frequently went to the gas station to waste my quarters.
Outstanding. Yeah, maybe it was a 7-Eleven right around the corner from my house. And I used to pick up either Mad magazines or, do you ever hear of a magazine called Cartoons?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it was like kind of like Mad magazines about cars, more or less.
Right.
And I used to want to be a car designer as a kid, so I would sit there and draw cars all day long. And I really liked that magazine because it made the cars look kind of like cartoony versions of the favorite automobiles you see on the road.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so when I was looking at one of the cartoon magazines, I saw Spider-Man number 258 on the stands there. And I don't know if you're familiar with Spider-Man 258, but that's the issue where Peter Parker is being pulled between two different costumes, like the red costume and the black and white costume. And I opened up the book. And, I love that book. That was my first Spider-Man book I ever read as a kid. And it was crazy because that's the issue where he found out that the black suit was actually a symbiote trying to make a permanent bond with him. And by the time that issue was over, he was wearing like the Amazing Bagman costume where he had the Fantastic Four outfit on and the bag on his head. And I'm going, what is this? That's crazy. That black and white suit's so awesome. How could they get rid of it? And I was immediately like wanting to find out more. And every other black suit issue I saw there, I would try to pick up. And I found out there was a comic shop around the corner, well, about a mile away from my house, and I'd bike up there and ask like that, do you have any more of like this black and white suit stuff? And he goes, it's like, can you tell me more about it? And how come it's not in the cartoon? I remember even asking him, like, why isn't it in Spider-Man's Amazing Friends? Because that was my only reference to Spider-Man up to that point, before the comics. They go, well, first of all, you're never going to see it inside the cartoon. I go, why not? I can't wait for that episode. I go, well, the cartoon stopped being made back in 82, and this is now 84. And I'm going, oh, that stinks, dude. So how do I get more of it? He goes, comic books. I'm going, okay, I'm in.
Right.
And I just devoured anything that was symbiote Spider-Man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's that costume and the Ben Reilly costume that got me hooked on Spider-Man.
Dude, so freaking cool. As I said, too, doing costume refreshes, I think, is some of the most brilliant things to do in the world of comic books. Because you have an opportunity to get a new fan feel like that's their starting point. So I saw one of your questions you wanted to ask me is, like, what do you recommend for people to, like, that have never read comics before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just something that simple is a great way to start off on reading a new generation of Spider-Man for yourself. and it's just anything that's like, number one. But mostly like costume changes are easy jumping on points because everybody already knows the whole thing of like, okay, Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider. Uncle Ben died because he wasn't being responsible, and with great power comes great responsibility. But something that's like a starting point of like, the red and gold armor during Civil War, or the black and white suit back after Secret Wars, different things that Dan Slott did where he had different costumes for different times when he was going big time
The
and had his own company. Yeah, and it's just an easy jumping on point without having to start at number one. And those to me I think are really, really kind of cool. And as you said earlier, indie books are huge for new comic collectors because I think of indie books like Netflix on paper. There's something out there for everybody, and if you just want to give comics a try, people are kind of like don't want the capes, and like, tights type of thing of superheroism. There's different types of stories out there, horror genres, romance genres, science genres. I mean, there's just all kinds of fantasy genres of stuff out there that someone could pick up and get into, and it's something that kind of explores the medium of how great the world of comics is.
That's a great outlook. And listen, Ken, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I would love to do this again at a later date if you're okay with it.
Absolutely. I said too, it's like my major was journalism. And so anytime people want to be on a podcast, I'm all on board if I have the time. I greatly appreciate you guys thinking about me as a person that's interesting and good content. So that just makes my day today. I greatly appreciate you guys.
Awesome. I had to, man. It's the best comic book store in Arizona. So please, everybody, if you get a chance to head out to Glendale and go to Drawn to Comics, hands down above the rest. Thanks, Ken. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate you guys, too. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
All right.